So moving on from the wands onto the suit of swords now. The court cards in the suit of swords represent intellect and communication. They are the mental aspects of the tarot and therefore rule over mind and thought, depicting a progression of mental development and expression. Starting with the page in the suit of swords. The page is curious, analytical and eager to learn. Pages represent a child or a childlike way, or a more childlike level of maturity within the realm they rule over, and they often symbolise messages or new ideas. So let's have a look at the symbolism on the page of swords. So in the card you'll see that the character in the card is a young person holding a sword, and the young figure represents the youthful qualities of curiosity, eagerness and a readiness to confront new challenges. It suggests a person who is mentally sharp, quick-witted and always ready to engage with new ideas or situations. The sword that is being held here by the young person in quite an active position symbolises readiness, vigilance and a sharp mind. The sword actually represents the power of thought, communication and truth, and the way it's held suggests that the page is prepared to use their intellect to cut through confusion and face any challenges head on. The background of the card, or just the card in general, is meant to show in ways of weather quite a wind-swept environment and landscape with clouds which indicate movement and change, and they symbolise the dynamic and sometimes turbulent nature of thoughts and ideas. The wind-swept setting suggests that the page is navigating through mental challenges or situations that require quick thinking and adaptability. The page's posture is alert, with their gaze looking off into the distance as if watching for something or thinking ahead, and this reflects the qualities of vigilance, foresight and a proactive attitude. The page is always on the lookout for new opportunities, information or challenges, ready to react swiftly. There's a lot of blue in the card in the background, and this colour represents intellect and communication. There's yellow in the clothing of the page, which symbolises optimism and clarity. So the colours here suggest a combination of mental clarity and optimism. The page approaches situations with a clear mind and a positive outlook, eager to learn and communicate effectively. So how might the Page of Swords come up in a reading, and what does it mean? So the Page of Swords in the tarot represents youthful energy and curiosity. They're searching for truth and reason within their reality or existence. Page of Swords is always full of new ideas, and they're eager to learn. They embrace challenges through active, open communication, always asking questions just to help them better understand their environment, themselves, whatever it is that they want to understand in that moment, any new ideas that they might be having. In a reading, this card can suggest a time of heightened intellect, with lots of new ideas coming through and the possibility of lots of new opportunities, particularly around learning. So when this card shows up, it can definitely show you in a time of heightened curiosity and mental alertness. You may be really eager at the moment to explore new ideas or new things, and maybe really eager to be engaging in really stimulating conversation, because obviously the swords are about communication as well. So this is quite an inquisitive time in your life. This is a time when you might be looking into doing new research into a new subject that you may be interested in. This is a time when you'll be feeling particularly excited about learning new things. You may be starting a new project at the moment, which requires either speaking, teaching, or writing. But definitely a time where using your intellect and communication skills may be vital at the moment. Comes to challenges that you may be facing, when the Page of Swords shows up, it shows you being able to face challenges using logic, being analytical over what you're facing, problem solving, using your intellect and your communication skills to face any challenges head on. But remembering that this is the Page, so this card very much speaks about a youthful enthusiasm. It's an exciting time. It's you very eager to learn and very eager to show off your intellect. As a person, the Page of Swords can show somebody who is has quite a sharp mind, quick wit. They are able to think on their feet and come up with clear solutions. So it may be that you find yourself in a situation where your ability to think quickly and to come up with clever ideas on the spot may impress others. Because of the nature of this card, especially being the Page, so it's all about the quickness, it's the being eager, it's a little bit impulsive. It can sometimes show that there's a need for patience, that you may need to slow down, that there may be some restlessness, especially when you're eager to start something new but you may be held back by circumstances. So it may be a card showing that you may have a frustration around something that you just want to get on with, but you feel that you can't that other things are preventing you from doing that. So the swords also talk a lot about honesty, and as we've already spoke about, communication. With it being the Page, maybe the Page hasn't quite yet learned how to be honest, but in a tactful way. So the Page can sometimes represent honesty, but in a blunt way, so like blunt truth, because the Page is still the child, hasn't gone through that level of maturity yet. So although they are very much about the truth and about communicating the truth, they may be lacking the ability to give the truth in a more empathic way. So it's that blunt honesty that the Page can sometimes show. So if you get it in the reading, it might be that somebody has given you some kind of blunt truth, or maybe you're guilty of, or not guilty, but that's something you do. You're not very good at sugarcoating things, I suppose. Same reason, the Page of Swords can show up when there is going to be a new truth that comes to light that you didn't know. Maybe you're going to realise the truth around something or somebody. Sometimes the Page of Swords might show up to indicate a challenge to authority or sort of social norms. The Page can be very inquisitive about the truth of reality, and may do their own research. They want to explore their own mind, the use of their own mind, by exploring reality, the world that we live in. And so they may, this card may show up if you or another person is questioning authority, or is questioning what society holds as truth in reality. So they can often show up because they're questioning traditional approaches or challenges to the established norms. There's a real deep desire with the Page of Swords to think independently. It's a bit like when a child learns to walk and they suddenly want to toddle off, and they still need a bit of help, but they want that independence. So with the page, it's like that with the mind, but they start to want to explore their own thoughts more, and so then can come up against obstacles in that way, because they start to form their own opinions on things. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong, because this card can show up for very adult people with an adult level of mind. It just means that their thinking has changed, and it's now to not what they always thought before, and I suppose could be labelled conspiracy theorist. But you know, that's down to debate, isn't it, as to who's right and wrong. It doesn't mean that the page is necessarily wrong. It's actually good to have our own thoughts and do our own research, and the page can represent that too.